welcome to Yoga-Mojo's All Levels Vinyasa class. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for taking time out of your day. Thank you for finding space wherever you might be to have a practice, to take time for yourself and to spend some time with me in a vinyasa practice. So this is a harmonium, and that chant I was just playing is Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudeva. Om, the primordial sound of the universe, and Namo is to acknowledge, to bow, to give reference to. Om Namo Bhagavate is another name for God, Supreme Being. Bhagavate Vasudeva. Vasudeva is like in the dwelling place of the light. And it's often a chant, one of the chants. It's one of the most ancient of chants. And it is one to the wonderful Krishna. And Krishna is a Sanskrit name for the Dark One. And Krishna is an incarnation of the Supreme Being, the deity known as Vishnu. And Vishnu is an energy. I like to think of him as that incredible, powerful energy of love. And he is said to take a variety of incarnations, is Vishnu. And he is the one that protects us. He is the one that sustains the world and that sustains the energy of the world. So Vishnu takes an incarnation as Krishna, the dark one or the dark blue one, who came to earth to try to bring it back into balance, to try to say, okay, the world's a little crazy right now, and he came to the world to bring it into balance. I'm going to move this awesome harmonium off of my mat. It's a fairly new harmonium for me. It was gifted to me from one of my students, and we've had a little work done on it, so it was really kind of nice to share its sound and to share its vibrations in today's practice with you. So I'm going to go ahead and move it off the mat and let yourself come into that comfortable seated pose of Sukhasana as you sit tall. And the story of Krishna's birth is one that actually begins with the Mother Earth, and it was Bhumi, the great Mother Earth, who went to Brahma and said, Brahma, the world's gone crazy. It's dark, things are going crazy on me. Can you help me? And of course Brahma said, you know, I'm the one that creates everything. It's Vishnu who maintains and sustains. So she went to Vishnu, and Vishnu said, yes, yeah, I totally see what's going on. And it surfaced, that story, because here, of course, in North Carolina, for those that are watching from North Carolina, you know, we've had the hurricane in a week, we had the tornadoes, we now have the earthquake, and of course we have a pandemic. So it was kind of like, yeah, the world's kind of crazy right now. And it made me pause and know that there are truly blessings that surround us. You know, even in the most difficult of times, we can pause and we can take a moment to go, wait a minute. We might not be aware of it, but there's this energy. There is this sense of energy that is out there, that is doing its best, this great force to bring goodness. And that is a symbol of Krishna, at least in my heart and in my mind. Krishna comes into the world to say, don't forget to play. Take time for yourself. There is joy everywhere. So, with that in mind, let's go ahead and sit nice and tall. Place the hands in a way that allows the shoulders to relax and any tension to release. Getting that grounding. And it began with Mother Earth going, hey, what's really going on? So we place ourselves in that, imagine that grounding core down. It gives us stability. And we can close our eyes if it's comfortable. And give ourselves a moment to connect with the own waves of our breath, our own pranayama. Feeling the breath as it flows in and it flows out. Taking our time as we take our space, breathing in and breathing out. Looking to bring a balance here into the awareness of the flow of our own breaths. And quieting the space. Meditation, quieting the body, stilling the body, releasing by becoming present in the moment, feeling the energy of the breath. Knowing the breath, connection, the mind, the body, the breath is such a wonderful tool that we can come to at any time during the night or the day. Energy flowing in, energy flowing out. And sometimes when we come to the mat and we take this practice of pranayama, we can settle right in. And there are times when the mind is going so fast, thought after thought, emotions that might surface, that it can be more challenging. And with practice, as we find the breath connection, everything begins to slow down. As you take the next breath in, let it flow with ease. And as you exhale, can you let that breath be a little longer, slowing the release of the breath down so it's just a little longer. And the next breath, we take that breath in. You might sit a little taller with this breath. And in the very top, opening up our eyes so that we can focus our drishti on a spot ahead of us. As we take our next inhale, let's join the hands here at the heart space, taking our mudra of Anjali. And as we do, taking a beautiful bow as the breath is released, with the chin floats to the chest and that first stretch behind the neck. Our hands taking from the heart up to the sky. It's like this offering. We take it from the heart, we lift up, our gaze will follow, we'll separate, turn, let those arms float out, float wide as they release to the earth. We have our releasing energy. We're going to turn those palms to the bottom of the breath. Open up again as we lift the arms, reach to the sky. So our sun breaths here in Yoga-Mojo are stretch. We're going to turn those palms and exhale. Notice if your low ribs are shifted out in a shear, or can you hug the ribs in as you engage your abdominal muscles. Inhale. So we start to feel the movement through the sides, the back, the front, and prepare to twist. Taking that nice easy turn. So having the ribs and the awareness of our spine movement in the twist, placing ourselves in a way that we can keep the grounding of the sits bones, letting that set of back fingers even press down gently on the next breath in, like a second spine that can give us a little lift. So if we choose, we can hold, or even if it's there, to go more deeply into the movement of our spine. Let's turn our gaze, taking a nice slow steady turn of our head, awakening the action of the neck movement. We can let the breath go. There's the release of the shoulders, the release of the chin. Let's come back into center, taking that breath, opening up, taking that right arm now up. As we take both arms nice and long, let's take a nice turn of the palms, the forearms, the upper arms, observing how it feels to rotate the arm bones. And as we turn the palms back up, let's feel the breath flow in. Hold this space as we let the breath go, and letting those shoulders relax. Bring up the arms, bring up the gaze, and we'll bring our spine into balance. Again, notice if the ribs have jutted out, or if we can find that movement in our thoracic with ease, placing of the palms. And the next breath, you might roll to the front of the sits bones, check in with the balance, and then again, if it's there, to move into that space, to feel the release, to feel the turn. Another breath wave. And letting it go. The turn of our gaze now to move the drishti, to feel the inhale. This is one of those times you can take a twist on an inhale with ease, letting the breath go, because we focus on the cervical spine, and the cervical spine has the most range of motion. Let's take the breath, inhale, and we don't impact the ribs. Let's take the breath. We don't impact the lungs as we take that space. Let's spin the palms, rotating them. And I bring that little tidbit of information because we're going to have some twists in our practice today. Let's turn the palms back up, release the shoulders. Feel the breath. Let's reach both arms, our gaze to the sky. Taking the hands back a little bit so we can bend the elbows. Lace the fingers on the journey and feel the hands come behind the head. We're going to take a nice breath at the head into the hands. Hands holding the head. And then notice if the elbows can open a little more. Observe the rib cage. Maybe we draw the navel in and up. Now I'm just going to let that breath go and re-extend the arms. Let's breathe in, letting that breath flow in, letting the gaze lift. And bring our hands on back to our heart space, into our mudra of Anjali. And we're going to let it go. So if you all haven't met Koa before, Koa is apparently joining us for our practice today. Let's go ahead and change the cross of our legs, our Sukha. I happen to have the right foot in front. I'm going to shift it, change, and create a new form. And this gives me an opportunity to kind of not only bring the balance of the hinging of the knees, but also an opportunity to reset. So let yourself take a few moments, reset into your space. We're going to take our hands back to our heart and continue to awaken. Let's take the hands up as we feel the breath. Energy flowing in. Turn to that right palm, lets that right arm rotate. We'll turn the gaze, let the hand float down as the breath is being released. And I love this connection. The fingers Gently pressing down, but lift with the fingers up, and then the walk of the hand or the placing of the palm that you can support yourself. Taking that nice lean on over to the right. Let's take a breath in, letting that left arm float back, and then we're going to bring our hand behind the head again. We're going to bend the elbow a little bit more, that right elbow, maybe lean the head back, and notice what sensations might surface in that space. Love that too. Let's inhale, lift up that left arm, bring up that right arm. Nice. We're going to turn that left palm, let that left hand float down. We can turn our gaze and watch as that hand floats down to the mat. And here's that counter energy, pressing down, reaching up. And the exhale, where we start to take that beautiful lean now over to the left. So we get a nice stretch on the right side. Let's open up, feel the shoulder. And on the exhale, the hand might come behind the head. And this is a nice check-in point. We can lean the head back a little bit, opening up, maybe taking the elbow, and observe again those new spaces that we're bringing energy to. Let's bring ourselves back up, right arm, left palm turning, gaze to the sky, and the exhale brings our hands to our heart space. Nice. Let's go ahead and release that, and we can release our mudra. So Krishna, there's a wonderful pose called Navrata Rasana, and it's the pose of Krishna playing the flute. So Krishna is said to play a beautiful bamboo flute that he carved holes in to create sound, to create vibrations, and it is said that when that beautiful flute is being played, it's irresistible. I'm going to take our knees, bending those knees, taking the feet a little wide and create what is called the deer pose or the stag pose. Place the hands back, roll the shoulders, and let's take a little bit of a lean. Yeah, of those knees on over. Shifting this right shin bone so it might be parallel to the side of your mat or the end of the mat, and taking those back fingers and giving yourself a little bit of a lift. Now do not worry if those knees don't float all the way to the earth. It might be here. You can always support them. For those that wish, that shifting of your torso over this right thigh, lifting up and observing how it feels to shift the heart forward. To shift the heart forward. Taking the core muscles, continuing to bring them over to the right, pausing when you feel any stretch that says that's your space, or perhaps releasing the head. Let's come all the way back up and bring ourselves back up. And I love that space because it kind of starts to bring some shifting energy into the hips in generally very different way. And then, yep, we're going to go the other way. We're going to say, okay, so it's called the stag pose or the deer pose. And again, you might bring that shin, knee in alignment with the hip. You might say, yep, that's it. Maybe turn the core muscles a little bit over to the left. Pause here if you're feeling that. Again, support yourself. Or you might say, yep, I'm going to try to hinge. So an awakening action is very much pausing, giving yourself time, your body to adjust. For many, this angle, this 90-degree angle can be really intense for the knee. So be mindful there. Nice. We're going to take our gaze forward, rise back up. Just kind of giving a stretch to those hips and those knees. We'll come back, maybe heel toe in, and make our journey to our tabletop. Joining me in tabletop now, I'm going to take a moment. We have a low lunge in our sequence today. So if you have any props that can help support the knees, if you'd like to have some support there, go for it. I'm going to take my Sukha mat and come into tabletop. As we come into tabletop, a placing of the hands beneath the shoulders, the knees beneath the hips, and we arrive in Malasana. And as we're here in this space, let's begin the cow and the cat. Feeling the breath as it flows in, lifting the heart forward, the cow pose. And on the exhale, we draw the navel in and up. Tailbone releases to the knees, chin to the chest. Let's take another round. Inhale. So cows are often associated with Krishna. Let's exhale. He grew up and was raised with the Gopalis, the cow herders, and the milkmaids. Let's take another breath. And this week happens to be the birthday of Krishna. Then when Krishna came, and he was born on earth, so Vishnu took an incarnation. Look at the breath. And take our energy and letting ourselves arrive in a nice neutral spine from the movement of the cow and the cat. Lifting up the right leg. Let's awaken the right side from the heel to the head. Maybe lift the right leg a little higher. And as you're exhaling, feel the slow release of the toes down to the mat. Get a sense of when they touch. And then shift that energy through the heel. Taking that energy back a little bit. Claw the fingertips to keep the hands engaged. Then we can let our gaze come forward again. Shift forward. Lift up the right leg. We're going to bring that knee to the heart. Exhale, hugging the knee up towards the heart. Let's take the right leg long and reach to the heel. Let the gaze come forward. As we exhale, it's like all the energy comes to the midline, up to the center. Take a next breath, and then we expand and lengthen it away. Let's do it again. Number 3. There it is. Awesome. We're going to take this right leg nice and long, and then slowly release that right knee down to the mat. Take that same sequence, other side. Here comes the left leg. We're going to lift it. We're going to hold it for a moment. Notice the low belly, the mid belly, the ribs, feeling the reach back. Maybe lifting it higher. And we'll slowly, nicely and slow, let those toes descend to the mat, and then feel the stress back through the Achilles and right through the calf. And as we feel this energy, again, just notice the hands, kind of give them some action. We'll hug everything in, gaze forward, shift forward, lift up this left leg. And on the exhale, here comes the knee up into the heart. We're going to take it twice more, so the gaze comes forward as the heel goes back. Here it is in number 2. And you just kind of notice where everything kind of focuses, right in that center. Take the leg nice and long. Here is number 3. We're going to exhale. And taking that leg nice and long, get that beautiful reach back. Let's exhale, release our knee to the mat. Coming down to the forearms, you can come off the hands, come right on down to the forearms, spinning the palms down. Taking a moment to feel the connection of the forearms and maybe a slight protraction of the shoulders. Engage the core. Step your left foot back to get a nice reach back. And then let that right foot join it so we have a beautiful forearm plank. Think of the inner thighs now spiraling up as the heels are over the toes. The breath is flowing in. We're going to bend the knees gently. Let them just kind of brush the mat and then lift up. Do it again. Kind of brush the mat. Lift up, tailbone hugging back, heels shifting back. Here's the number 3. Awesome. We're going to lengthen, bring those knees down, uncurl the toes, moving our heart forward so we can release our hips down into the pose of our Sphinx. Let's scrub the forearms back. We have some low lunges, so this awakening of the low back is a great kind of space to give ourselves more space. So think heart forward. Nice. Let's open up the elbows and let the head float down to the mat, bringing the chin in, taking a little rock from side to side. Like this moment to kind of pause, let the whole front body feel the connection to the earth beneath us. And in this pranam, we're going to pause, take our time, and then lift up our gaze, slide our hands by the chest. Feel the shoulders lift up and away as the elbows kind of draw into the midline. Let's take our heart forward in Cobra. Take a breath and feel your Cobra pose. Exhale, releasing on down. Let's take it again. Inhale, Cobra. Notice where the weight is if you're using the hands a lot, not just the heels of the hand. And that often happens in this pose. Let's take number 3. So we can not only lift, we can notice where we're pressing in the hands. Nice. We're going to exhale. I want to use the whole palm. Let's take it to up dog now. Take the breath in, heart comes forward, arms go long. Here goes the tops of the feet pressing. As the collarbone opens, we're going to exhale. You might bring your knees to the mat, curl the toes to down dog. You might lift up your hips as you flip your toes to down dog and arrive in downward dog. So as you take the journey to down dog, we'll take this first down dog of our practice and begin to lift and lower our heels, bending of the knees and taking time to awaken the legs and the back of the legs, creating strength in the arms as we hold this pose, slowing down the movement so we can come into that nice still dog where we release the heart, the gaze is soft. In this space, try to imagine you could turn your fingers out. So they're rooted, those fingers, but if you turn them out, you might notice how the upper arms kind of activate. Let's take our breath and lift up our heels, feeling the toes awaken, the sits bones might lift higher. The exhale releases our heels back and down towards the mat. Our gaze comes forward. We're going to step our feet to the top of the mat, taking our time as we walk our feet to the top of the mat to come into a nice forward fold. Now forward folds might be supported with the hands at the thighs. Forward folds can have these beautiful blocks supporting you so you can get a nice connection. For some, their hands will come to the earth, their head will float, and we're finding some movement here, some organic action. So as you've arrived in your forward fold, your Uttanasana, got this nice line from the heels to the hips. Let's prepare to come into a half fold. So we'll find our stillness and take our breath and take a beautiful half fold. Hands to the thighs, hands to the top of the shins, hand to those beautiful blocks. As you're exhaling, engaging the abdominal muscles to support the spine, softening of the knees if we're feeling a lot of pull so we can be really kind. And then we'll bend the knees and rise up, inhale. So that nice gentle bend, we elongate, we'll bring our gaze to the sky as the hands go to the sky, and the hands will come to the heart space as we let the breath go. We can close our eyes in this moment, gather in, letting yourself take a moment for you, letting yourself reconnect with the flow of your breath. And if it's part of your practice, set an intention for today's practice, your own sankalpa. Energy flowing in and energy flowing out. And there is a force, there is this goodness everywhere. And some might think of it as Vishnu, this energy that sustains and maintains. Breath in and breaths out. And from Tadasana, a great foundational pose. Let's open up our eyes. As we feel a breath flow in, release our hands of our mudra of Anjali. Our practice today, our building of our sequence as we co-create it, is going to begin with chair. So I'm going to bring my feet in a little bit, maybe the big toes touch, draw in the navel, and with that awareness, take a breath into chair pose. Inhale, chair pose. Utkatasana, the fierce angles. In our version of chair, I'm going to have my booty back and the heart lifting, belly drawing in, tailbone releasing down. You can see my toes past the knees. Take another breath, lift the gaze. Let's exhale, take the fold. I like to think of the ribs coming to the thighs as we float. Take your heart forward as you inhale to a beautiful half fold. On our exhale, high plank to low plank is an option. Let's place our hands, bend the knees, step the feet back. You might come to plank and hold. You might bring your knees to the mat, take a chaturanga. You might have long legs. Inhale, the beautiful cobra option or up dog option, and exhaling to downward facing dog. So throughout the practice, when we move through that little mini vinyasa, taking a sequence that brings you to down dog in a way that really, really feels good. Let's add on. Right leg is going to lift up to the sky. You're going to nice to reach. The toes are going to stay turned down if they can, so the hips stay very neutral. Take a nice breath in. And we're going to exhale, bring the knee to our heart, bringing that energy, bringing that fire, finding our core strength. And let's take that right leg all the way back up. As you exhale, gaze forward, step the right foot forward between the hands, helping that foot to arrive. Taking another breath as we're here, coming light in the fingers so the hugging of the thighs can happen. We're going to release to the low lunge. So let's go ahead and release that left knee down. So again, I've got my Sukha mat placed so that I can place that knee. And then for a few moments, this can be really intense. So let's take a few awareness of movements that feel good for you. So for me, I like to kind of shift forward and back. I like to stretch out the hamstring, taking the hips by taking that leg long. But move organically. You might even turn your toes out to awaken the hips. But this is some nice action to kind of juice up the hips. And I've also brought my two blocks close by because they help to bring up the floor a little bit. So I'm going to use my blocks as I come into my low lunge. I place the left knee down, the toes are right behind the knee, and you might even uncurl the toes and take a moment to press the top of the foot down. Notice how that feels. And then let's place the right hand to the thigh, left hand to the thigh, and take that first lift up. Being mindful of the low spine, tailbone is down, right hip is hugging back. You might even draw the low belly in. And let's reach our arms as we inhale. And then exhale, come a little deeper. Let's take another breath. As we inhale, we might open up. Now think up to the sky. As you exhale, right hand's going to float behind. Left hand's going to float behind the head. So that right hand's going to float to the side and maybe a sense of being behind. Left hand is here. We're going to take our next breath and inhale. Bring up this right arm. Bring up this left arm. So we had a beautiful side bend. We've come back into center. As you exhale, take the right hand to your heart. Let the left hand float back towards the back. We're going to curl those back toes under in this moment. We're going to rise up, and as we rise up to crescent, you might place your left hand to the earth, to the block. As you lift your left knee, your left arm might be floating back. As we inhale, we lift up, and we reach this right arm, we reach this left arm. There are so many beautiful variations as we rise up into the beautiful crescent. Power through the left. Find your drishti, your gaze to help you find your balance. Maybe come more deeply. Take another breath, wave in. We're going to release those hands to the mat and return to downward facing dog. So I'm going to move my blocks, place the hands, Take it to down dog with a nice step back, or go through the vinyasa of your choice to take you into the journey to downward facing dog. Breathe in and breathe out. Let's take that sequence left side, left leg lift. So the first time, lifting the left leg, we're going to pause here. You might release the right heel, hug the right hip back, try to lift the left leg a little higher. And right along the midline, we bring that energy into that heart. We're high on the back toes, shoulders have shifted. Let's take the breath in, lift up that left leg into our Hanuman splits. Our gaze comes forward, we shift forward. We set that left foot between the hands, perhaps closer to the left thumb than right in the middle. So when we feel the next breath, we can lengthen from the heel of the head. Again, these beautiful blocks can be quite helpful. Then we're going to release that right knee down. And the releasing of the right knee, you might notice the hip flexor. Some have really strong hip flexors, and that release can be pretty intense. So that's why I like to uncurl the toes. Take a moment, press the top of the foot down, even the little toe. And then organic movement. Yeah, how does it feel to shift forward and back? Awakening some of the tight space. I'm going to turn my toes out, even like I did on the other side. Get a little abduction in the hips. Nice. So the hamstrings, the hip flexors, the low lunge can be such an awesome pose. We're going to pause here. Place the left hand as you're ready. Place the right hand and try to lift on up. Feeling that energy as you root into the mound of the big toe, tailbone down, hips again in balance. There's a breath. We're going to reach our arms, take our breath in. Maybe come a little deeper into that flexion, awakening energy, breathing in. Now here goes that left hand. It's going to float down. And again, it might float slightly behind. You can even support your low back. It might float down to the earth. Right hand's coming behind our head. I kind of love this space. You might feel this great stretch. As we take our breath in, we'll come back to that low lunge, which our reach. Awesome. And the exhale, left hand floats to heart. Right hand floats back. We take the beautiful lean. So you bring the torso weight over that left foot, which allows that right set of toes to curl under. When we rise up, whoa, we can feel this movement of the arms. You might take the left arm up, right hand back. You might take both arms up. So feel that connection, awakening into this beautiful crescent. Energy, awesome space here, power through the right. Maybe come a little deeper. Hug the left hip back, hug the inner thighs in. We're going to take it back to the earth. Let's place our hands to the mat. Slide that left foot back to your downward dog or go through the vinyasa. Breathing in and breathing out. Energy flowing in, energy flowing out. To create a sequence and then to move with our breath. Bringing it into a mindfulness that brings us right here into the moment. Let's repeat that sequence, pose to pose. Right leg lifts, inhale. Knee to heart as we exhale. Right leg lifts again on the breath. Let's gaze forward, step that right foot between the hands, release the left knee. Inhale, we've uncurled the back toes as we reach to the sky. Exhale, left hand behind the head, right hand floating down, maybe even behind. Inhale, bring those arms up towards the sky. Exhale, right hand to heart, left arm reaching back, back toes curl. Inhale, feel that left arm and or lift up. Take this beautiful crescent action. As you exhale, it is warrior two. We're going to spin that back foot down. I will go ahead and change so I can face you. Got the right foot forward, left heel has rooted, core muscles to the left. A beautiful warrior two. Take a breath in. Go a little deeper. Holding your space. Finding this excellent focus of energy. Grounded feet. Hugging those heels in. Lifting from the base of our spine to the crown of our head. Then releasing any tension. We're going to prepare for triangle to side angle. Let's turn the palms. Inhale. Reach our arms. Lift our gaze to the sky. And as we exhale, left hand's float behind the head. Right hand's floating down to the earth. So you might see a sequence here of this hand behind the head. Notice that left elbow. Can you roll it back? Notice the right side. Can you give it some length? And if you happen to have a block, For your triangle, that can be really awesome as well. Shoulders will come back. Now on the breath in, inhale, extend that left arm. So the right toe, big toe is rooted down. We've got the outer edge of that back foot pressing down. We've got length on both sides. Try not to collapse because we're going to move into side angle utthita. It's a bend of this right knee and a stretch of that left arm over our head. And we have a beautiful side angle. It might be, it's more comfortable to place that forearm. It might be that block or hand to the earth. Let's windmill all the way up to reverse triangle. Inhale, creating that great space. Opening up, holding this space. As you're exhaling, let's come back into a nice warrior two. Feel a breath in. Let the breath go. Let's turn those palms, inhale. We're going to turn the right toes to face the side of the mat. The sides of the feet are going to be very parallel with the edges of your mat. So we can take a beautiful release. We're going to let our hearts float down into a wide angle forward fold. As we have any of our props, we can help with the props, beginning up a lift of the floor. Some are going to be able to take their heads right down to the mat. We're going to find the energy still from the earth up, grounding the feet, finding that connection, maybe even rolling to the outer edges so we find the arches, the sense of the inner thighs hugging in, the outer hips hugging in. And then rock a little forward. I love that cue. I love that cue because it kind of changes the whole awareness of our space of our hips. Now as you're ready, let's take a half fold. Take a nice breath in. Beautiful half fold. As we exhale, place the hand and spin. So you place that left hand to the earth and you are spinning to the right. Heart is coming forward. We have a beautiful half fold. And I love this moment because we've used that exhale to kind of spin us open. On the inhale, we'll take our right arm up to the sky. Left shoulder might hug back. We feel the turn. So wherever this might be for you, we're going to exhale and float it back down to the earth. Hand to the block, hand to the earth. Head might float down some more. We're going to prepare for the other side. We're going to inhale. So this is all levels. Some of our friends are going to have those arms flying. Some are going to have that inhale half with their hands supporting. As you exhale, hand comes to the earth. Here's the spin. Or hand comes to that block. Here's the spin. We're taking the heart forward. We're lifting. Nice. So we're going to inhale. Take that arm to the sky. So wherever this might be for you, feeling the chest forward. Nice long spine. Beautiful pelvic floor, balanced. Exhale. Float the left hand. This ability to float down to the earth. We might even reach back and give ourselves a nice little pull. Like you could take the hands behind the feet, kind of pull your heart. Then let's rise up. Take your time. We were here for a bit. Hands might come to the waist, and that can be a nice cue to kind of engage the core to support the spine. Arms might be circling all the way up and reaching. As you exhale, spin your right heel in, point the toes to the edge of the mat. Left heel might press back a little. Warrior two. Another breath flows. We're going to let it go. We're going to take the mojo turn. A release of the arms, a shift of that back foot, the ability to slightly turn the hips so we can reach up. On the exhale, we're going to spin that back heel up. Take our reach back arrow. And I love reach back arrow for a nice transition into balance. So as we transition, we're going to head to a warrior three and then move into a standing flamingo. So let's take our breath. You might step into that right foot, bunny step the left. Your hands might come down to the block or to the earth to support you. Your hands might be here at the heart. Your arms might be forward. Take another breath. As you exhale, standing flamingo, where we bring this left knee into our heart and we say, yep, got my standing flamingo. This exhale is a beautiful contraction. As you rise up, inhale, bringing those arms up to the sky. We take that beautiful breath. As we exhale, we're going to create Krishna's beautiful pose. I'm going to turn towards you. And as you exhale, we open up that hip, slide the top of the foot to the outside of our shin. And on the opposite side, we hold the flute. Nice. We hold the flute. We feel the breath. We've got the hand closest to us pointing back. We've got a rotation of that other hand. So the palm is floating back as well. And we have a beautiful space. Got a slight external rotation, and this is Krishna's pose. Awesome. We take that breath. Let's take our breath in. Inhale. Extend and lift on up. As you exhale, bring that sole of the foot to the mat. and you are here in a beautiful mountain. Let's go to the other side. Breath flows in. Inhale. And exhale. Forward fold. Half fold. Inhale. Our exhale, bend the knees, place the hands, step the feet back to down dog or go through that vinyasa. Inhaling, up dog. And exhaling, downward facing dog. Left leg lifts, inhale. We'll repeat the first series of poses. Exhale, moving with breath. Inhale, back to our one-legged dog. Exhale, gaze forward. We're stepping the left, releasing that right knee. Ajane, opening up the slow lunge reach. Right hand behind the head, left hand floating towards the earth or behind. Inhale, extend both arms up to the sky. And then exhale, left hand to heart, right hand flowing back. Curl the toes. Rise up, inhale, opening up into a variation of our beautiful crescent. And on our exhale, we spin that heel, shuffle the left foot in, and we are in our beautiful warrior two. Take another breath and let it go. So my friends that I'm mirroring, I'm going to go ahead and shift sides so that the left foot is forward, that right heel is back. We create our warrior two. Feel another breath. Let it be. And from Virabhadra 2, we're going to stretch the legs and create the beautiful triangle prep. We'll turn the palms and extend those legs, reaching up to the sky. The exhale, right hand's coming behind the head, and then we can float that left hand. Often when we make the transition to triangle, we start to cave in. So this is a great moment to kind of roll it open, even the rib cage coming back. And wherever your hand might be, you're in your triangle action. Then from behind the head, even lean the head back. And then let that right arm come up to the sky. Maybe your gaze comes up. So we've got this awesome triangle action. Turning the palm. When we take it, that arm over the head, there's an option to take a bend into that left knee. And we move right from our triangle into a beautiful side angle. Hand might be behind, hand might be in front, forearm might be here. Try not to collapse that shoulder. Let's windmill up and over. Inhale. Holding this space now, creating some length, giving ourselves that great reach up and over. When we exhale, it is warrior two. We're going to turn to that mountain. Inhale. And I love this mountain, this wide angle mountain, to fold into it. It's a beautiful inversion. So we're going to fold into it. We're going to float on down. We're going to move with breath. Let's inhale. Take our half fold. Exhale, twist. Inhale, lift, take the gaze. Exhale, float it down. Other side, inhale. Exhale. Inhale, heart forward. Exhale, reach back. Let's rise up, inhale, opening up to that energy. As we exhale, left toes forward, right heel back, warrior two. We're going to take the transition, the Yoga-Mojo turn to one. Lift, set, shuffle the feet so it feels really nice. And the exhale, reach back arrow, everyone. Feel yourself find the space, pause. Core is strong, heels back, crown of the head is lifting. As we transition into a warrior three, we step onto that left foot. Hands can be supporting us on the earth. Toes are pointing forward, hips are hopefully balanced. Hands can be here at the heart. Arms might be forward. Take another breath. As you exhale, bring that right knee into your heart. Nice. We're going to rise up. We're going to inhale from our flamingo action, knee to heart, to this lifted variation of tree. I'm going to spin towards you again. Then as you exhale, boom, we're going to open up that right hip. Take the top of the foot to the outside of our shin and play our flute. So we have this beautiful pose of Krishna. Take another breath. Awesome. Let's go ahead and reach our arms, reach up that right knee. And exhale. Foot to the earth, hands to the heart. A moment to be. Taking the energy in, letting the energy go. As you come into your mountain, you might close the eyes and gather everything. The sense of joy, the ability to know that these blessings are here always, that surround us. We take a moment to pause. take gratitude, of course. Our perception changes. How we look at the world can change. And Krishna is all about finding joy, what he calls the lila, to play. And it is his birthday this week. The birth of Krishna. Let's feel the breath as it flows in. Let the breath flow out. And as we take our next breath, we open our eyes. Release our hands with the mudra of Anjali. And we're going to take our sequence, pose to pose, breath to breath. And what I love about repeating is you can take it in any way that really supports your practice and feels good for you in this moment. We're going to begin with chair. Let's take our breath. Inhale, chair pose, Utkatasana. Exhale, forward fold, Uttanasana. Half fold, lifting the back of the heart. As we exhale, high plank, low plank, I'm going to cue for us. You might step to down dog or bring your knees to the mat. Feel the breath opening to cobra or up dog. And on the exhale, downward facing dog. The right leg is lifting. Inhale. Exhale, drawing the knee into the heart. Bring that breath in, right leg going up. Here's the exhale, gaze forward, step the right foot, release the left knee. Rise up into Ajane, love the space. And exhale, left hand behind the head, right hand floating to the earth. Inhale, up we reach. And on the exhale, our right hand floats to the heart, left hand floats back to the toes. Curling of the toes. That inhale, the windmilling of that left arm, if you choose, the right arm up and over. Let's exhale, feel ourselves spin into warrior two. Triangles, let's take that first triangle, triangle prep. Exhale, maybe it's the hand behind the head as the hand floats to triangle. Take the gaze up as you inhale, feel the reach. As you're exhaling, a beautiful opportunity to bend, side angle. Windmilling up and over, creating a stretch to reverse triangle. And exhaling into warrior two. We'll turn the palms, inhale, wide angle mountain. A moment to release, down, bowing, Bhumi, the earth. Inhaling, heart. Exhaling, twisting. Inhaling, opening as you hold the twist. And exhaling, floating it down. Would you get a breath? Inhale, prepare the spine. Exhale, twist on the spine. Inhale, open the arm. And exhale, float it all back down. When we rise up, this awesome extension of our mountain, the right toes turn forward, the left heel floats back, and we're in warrior two. The mojo turn, the beautiful shift, the shuffle of the feet. The exhale, balance here, reach back arrow. Let's feel our breath, any variation of warrior three. Exhale, standing flamingo. Movement challenges our balance. We're going to inhale and extend the arms. And exhale, wrap the foot, find our flute. Inhale, bring up the knee, bring up the arms, maybe the gaze. Exhale, set the foot, bring your hands to your heart. Other side, inhale, arms reach into our chair. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half fold. And exhale, high plank, low plank. Inhaling, upward dog. And exhaling, downward dog. Feel your breath, left leg lifts, inhale. And building of the fire, that energy, core plank. Feel the breath flow in, let the left leg rise. Exhale, stepping that left foot between the hands, releasing that right knee. And then when we rise into this beautiful Ajane, a moment to take a side bend. Love the right hand coming behind the head. Grace to the earth with the left. Inhale, reach it back up. And on your exhale, left hand to heart is an option, right hand floating back. Curl the toes. Feel the movement of that right arm, bringing that energy all the way up and expanding from the heart. As you exhale, we spin and open to warrior two. Let's take our triangles. Inhale, triangle prep. Exhale, hand, heart, head. Take the chin in, take the gaze up as you expand. And here's that beautiful side angle, Utthita Parishvokonasana, with the reach. Let's take our breath, inhale, up and over, creating the length of our reverse. And exhale, back into two. We come deep, we come low. We're going to turn those palms. Give ourselves that beautiful inversion, head below the heart, letting ourselves float. And as you feel the breath, half fold. And on the exhale, maybe we twist to the left. We take our breath and open, and that release of unwinding, coming to earth. Take it again, inhale, exhale, inhale, awesome, exhale, float down. Bring yourselves up, keep the core strong, maybe the arms to the sky. We'll turn the left toes, right heel, warrior two. Love this foundation. Feel the lift and the turn into warrior one. And this moment where the hips can come into a nice balanced level, reach back. Then we have our focus, our drishti, as we take a variation of warrior three. When we let the breath go, the bringing of that knee to our heart, then lengthening, root down, feel yourself kind of expand. And on the exhale, we'll hook the top of the foot to the outer edge of our shin, find our flute, and then inhale, bring it back up. Exhale, foot to the earth, hands to the heart. We come back into our mountain. Let's go ahead and take it back to down dog. Inhale, arms reach. Exhale, forward fold. With the breath, half fold. On your exhale to downward dog, noticing the awareness of breath, focus, strength. Let's exhale, downward dog. Take another breath in. Nice, let the breath go as you hold this pose. Feel another breath. Finding joy in this moment, letting it go. One more breath. Activate the fingers, the hips might lift. We're going to float our hearts forward, bring those knees to the mat, take a form of the child. I'm going to slide the big toes in, bring the ribs on down to the thighs, let the head float down. Let the shoulders relax. The hands might come back to the ankles. You might feel more comfortable with the block beneath your head. Hands beneath the head, but give yourself time to find the pose of Bala, to find the pose of Malasana. Energy flowing in, energies flowing out. Child's pose. And when Krishna was born, there's a wonderful story of Krishna's birth, but he was born intentionally and mindfully. For there was a tyrant, a king, who was in power, and his name was King Kamsa. And Kamsa, he ruled, he was harsh, and he was destroying the great Mother Earth. There was no joy, there was no happiness. So Vishnu said, I will be born, I will be Krishna, and I will remind everyone and bring the world back into balance, help them find truth. And Krishna becomes a wonderful teacher in many of the texts, the ancient texts. He's a wonderful teacher. Let the breaths flow in. Let the breaths flow out. So it's a big celebration. It's called Janmashtami. Janmashtami. A celebration of Lord Krishna, the incarnation of Lord Vishnu, the 8th incarnation. Because you see, Vishnu comes down time and time again. And it was the 8th incarnation of the 10 that we are aware of today. He comes down anytime the world is out of balance to protect us. So to become aware of this force of goodness, we can't see it perhaps, but it is always there. More powerful than we can imagine. Kino McGregor says that is the magic of life. As we're in our beautiful child's pose, we're going to take our arms forward. Take a nice long length of our arms as we place the hand shoulder width distance apart. Let's lift up our gaze and bring ourselves up into our tabletop. Now, Peacock Pose, there are many forms. I'm going to ask us to bring ourselves down to our forearms for a moment and take a Peacock Prep. It's a dolphin pose. We're going to curl the toes under kind of gently press down, feel the protraction of our shoulders, and lift up our hips. This is a great prep for the peacock. One of the versions, known as Rasana. For those that wish, as you're holding your dolphin, you might gaze forward, bring your shoulders slightly forward, lift one leg. You might say, got that, place my foot, lift my other leg. Got that, place my foot, give myself time to bring my knees to the mat, and give myself that awareness of the child again. Boom, hips go back, heart floats down, head rests. And dolphin is a great prep for the pose of Rasana. Let's lift up our gaze, slide our hands back as we lift up our hearts to come back into our table. Curl the toes under, hug everything in, downward facing dog. Adho Mukha Svanasana. We'll take our breath, let our gaze come forward, bend the knees. Step, jump, float, hop, walk our feet to the top of the mat. Once we arrive, a half fold to our full fold. Take your hands to opposite elbows and give yourself a moment to totally release. Observe the toes are pointing forward. Sides of the feet might be more parallel with the sides of the mat. Nice. If you've taken a bind, you might release your hands. Take a nice half fold. Long spine, heart forward. And then hinge again to rise up. And again, I love that gentle bend. Kind of releases some of the tension. Gives us the strength as we lengthen to reach. And slowly samasthitihi. Let your arms float by the sides. And we can bring our hands to our hearts. Awesome. So I bring in the peacock, or the awareness of the peacock, because the peacock is often symbolic with Krishna. Let's place our right foot down and give ourselves a moment to come fully into the pose of the year, the pose of the tree. I'm going to move my sukha mat, I'm going to move my block, and as we come into the pose of the year, we'll place that right foot, bring ourselves up into the space that we were in the practice of the vinyasa, hug everything in, and then open up that left knee, placing the foot anywhere alongside this leg. We do try to avoid any direct pressing, but as you find your tree, we'll bring our hands to our heart. Take a breath and let it go. Now, as you're holding your tree, I often like to distract us a little bit until you've got your focus, you've got the easy breath, you have the core, you understand where that foundation is that's holding you. The mudra of Vishnu is often done with the right hand. Taking a moment, take your hand, your palm to face forward like you're taking a Abhaya Mudra. And then let the peace fingers connect and curl in. Thumb goes out, ring finger stays up, little finger stays up, and this is a beautiful mudra of Vishnu. Take another breath. Nice, way to hold that. We're going to release the mudra, bring our knee back in and place it. Let's go to the other side. And I like to hold it in the practice because there are those that are going to come into it, release it, come into it, lose their balance. So it's nice to give ourselves time to adjust and to kind of play with it. As we open up, we have this branch. We've got this nice abduction. We'll place the sole of the foot into the inner thigh, the inner shin. Maybe it is the ankle, and we can take our space. Now, Vishnu's mudra is one of those that they say is almost always done with just the right hand. So it is also a beautiful, beautiful mudra that is used in Nadi Shodhana. Nadi Shodhana is a means of a breath practice. It's called alternate nostril breath. That is to bring our whole body into balance. So it is often used in that practice. I kind of like it because for me it's very calming. These two fingers are the air and the space. So they kind of let go a little bit, and the other energies fire up. Fire, earth, and water. Awesome. Let's bring that knee in. Hopefully you feel balance on both sides. We're going to take our pose of the mala to come down back to the earth. So let's place our feet a little wider than the hips. And as you take your time, start to float yourself down into it. The knees are going to track the direction of our toes. Again, I have a block here. So if it's really nice, you can take a beautiful block, place it under your sits bones, and that's a great place to kind of rest. For some, this quad stretch can be pretty intense. Low back can get at some intensity, so that might be their space. For others, yeah, it's a nice release down. For all, it's an awakening of the low back a little bit, the flexion of the knees. Now think of your heart opening as your head lifts. As we held the mala, we're going to release it on down and place my hand to bring myself all the way down to the mat. We're going to take a few seated postures here. So as we're here, we're going to come into Danda. I'm going to move my sukha mat back so it's in front of me so I can place my heels on it. And then as you're ready, if you notice your low back is really rolling back, if you have something you can lift, your hips up on, like a little meditation cushion or a blanket. Go for it. For those who are already feeling any stress, particularly in the knees, maybe try a little gentle bend. We're going to circle those arms, reach to the sky. Energy up, and here we go. Inner thigh spiraling in, heart floating forward as we move into Paschimottanasana. Seated forward fold. Paschimottanasana means the breath of the west. So this energy line from the heels to the head, all through the back side of the body, which is recognized as the west side of the body. Front side of the body is the east. And as we take our forward fold, it is huge opportunity for the hamstrings, but it is for the entire back body. If you would like to take your hands to your occiput, if it is comfortable, kind of give yourself a little release there. Because sometimes what's happening in the top of our neck truly impacts the base of our spine as well. So if we can kind of massage and release any tension, or again, if it's really intense, supporting yourself, we're going to rise up, inhale. So that nice release at the back of the neck can help the entire back west of your body. Let's circle those arms so we have that nice length. Nice, let's release it on down. I mentioned some seated poses. Let's open up the left leg off to the side as we bring the right knee up into our heart. Open up into a nice hip action. So we had a lot of action in the planes of the body, the sagittal, the frontal planes, and this is a nice space to kind of open. If this is too much for that hip, truly give yourself some support under it. As you're here, we're going to take our breath, and this awakening of the sides, and the hand behind the head. We'll slide the left forearm down to that shin, take our right arm out, and then bring the right hand behind our head. Let's open up a little bit. Maybe take the gaze to that right side, to that right elbow, and you might feel a wonderful stretch along the right side. I'm going to gently press into my left forearm, lengthening the left side, try to hinge, and the hand might come a little closer to the foot. If you're feeling an awesome stretch, take it right there, be with that. Some I know will start to bring their forearm down, taking the palm up, try to roll back again. Maybe the peace fingers under the Achilles, and you might even press up. And then there are going to be some students who are going to say, I'm going to bring my shoulder down. I'm going to reach my right arm up and try to take that foot and awaken. And there could be this huge stretch. Let's come on up on a breath. Inhale. We'll reach up. We'll let it be. We'll take another breath wave in. So the expansion of those intercostals is often a place where suddenly we've got some movement into that space. Let's go ahead and change sides. I'm going to bring up the left knee, extend the right leg, and open up this left hip. So as we take that space, remember that you can truly let it be supported. I'm going to bring the ankle towards the midline, the awareness of the roll, the sits bones. So those whose hips can rotate easily, the toes tend to go up. So we're going to try to take the toes of the right foot towards the sky to keep the kneecap up. Yeah, then we'll turn that right palm and kind of take a lean. Kind of slide that hand down, maybe it's the forearm. And these are all great spaces. We can lift up that left arm, take the hand behind the head, press our head into our hand, draw the low ribs in, maybe move the elbow back and notice how everything kind of goes with it. Yeah. Then we might press and lift, take a little more length, and even place the forearm down. We might place the peace fingers under the Achilles, press up a little, and then open up. You might see, got that, feels really good. You might release your shoulder, lift up the left arm, taking that left arm over the head, and then again trying to roll back a little bit, finding that breath, energy. And as you're ready, we're going to rise up. Whoa, feel good. Let the hand float to the mat. Nice. This right knee is going to bend. We'll form the pose of Baddha Konasana, the bound angle, bringing the soles of the feet in. Opportunity for those hips to release. Finding blocks again that can support your hips if that is most comfortable. As we take the soles of the feet in, we'll press them gently for a moment just to bring that energy. And the knees might lift up and then we might relax them. Let's open up. Take a nice little bit of a pelvic tilt. So as you're hinging, your body says this is a good space. You'll pause when you're feeling your own stretch. If the hips are in that space where you can float all the way down, you're going to go there, of course. From our Baddha Konasana, the breaths in and the breaths out. Let's take our gaze forward and rise up, everyone. We're going to bring our hearts up. Slide the hands to the outer knees. Bring those knees up into center. And we're going to shift to come down to our backs. Take a few stretches on our backs as we transition more into our Shavasana. As we feel the breath, I love the boat ride. So we'll take our toes and maybe let the toes be gentle. Maybe we'll hug the inner thighs, relax. For those that wish, bring up those shins. If you'd like, take your hands behind your head. Notice what just happened to the balance. Notice what just happened to the core by taking the hands behind the head. Awesome. Let's lift the arms up, maybe lengthen the legs. Hug those inner thighs in, take a beautiful half boat. As we take our half boat, I'm going to invite us to take the big toes forward so that too can help the inner thighs kind of finding that connection. We'll take a couple of twists. Over to the right and center. Hands can totally come down to support you. Over to the right, center, left, center. Again, right, center, left, center. Awesome. Maybe lift a little. We're going to float down nice and slow. And as we float down, we're going to release our shoulders, our neck, and our head. And we can arrive. Nice. Let's roll the shoulder blades under so the upper back, it's nice and comfortable for focusing on the legs and our stretches behind the legs. Drawing that right knee into your heart, give yourself a nice hug in. If you have a strap close by or would like to use a strap, we're going to take a strap today and place that strap around my foot. And then as I take the strap, I'm going to kind of inch it up towards the ball of the foot today. So when I draw it back, I've got the flexion of the ankle. You're stressing and stretching into the gastrocnemius as well. And then we can notice those hamstrings. Nice. Where you have your stretch, pause for a moment, relax your shoulders, and then release the right leg in a way that that left leg can go nice and long. Noticing that rotation of the pelvic floor and giving this space here on the upper left thigh, right? This awareness of your hip flexors. So you can gently press into that and then notice what's happening with the right leg. If you're using a strap, you might just kind of walk up the strap, feeling that right leg. If you have your hands behind your leg, you might be feeling that action. To bring awareness to the right heel, activating will gently activate the quad muscles. So that's an opposing muscle group, so it can feel really nice. From this space, I would love for you to take this leg over to the right, wherever it was. Just kind of open it to the right. Your left arm might come over into a T shape. The shoulders can relax. Nice. You might even slide that right leg so it's more in alignment with the hip. And notice if anything shifted in the sensation. And then if you did move it, I'm going to try to bring the right toes closer to my head, even with that huge hip opening. And then slowly bring this right leg back into center. Nice. Let's go ahead and bend the right knee. We'll slide the left foot in to join for using a strap, and we can bring it into Apanasana for not using a strap. The left foot's going to go up, right foot's going to come down. And in this space, we have our groundedness. We can then focus on that left leg. And focus on the movement of the leg. Maybe hold it because it feels really nice to find that connection there. And as we're there, I'm going to ask us to release it a little bit. Just release some of that pull. And give that right leg its reach. Yeah. And the right hand might come into the hip flexors and just kind of gentle press. That can be a nice tissue massage for those hip flexors right on top of this right hip. And the right thigh, upper thigh. And then we said, oh, let's go ahead and bring this left leg. I'm going to walk my hands up the strap. Again, those who can take their foot, you might have your foot. You've got a huge range of motion here happening. Then as we're here, you might go, okay, let me kind of open up that left leg off to the side. And as we take it off to the side, there's a moment for the adductors, trying to anchor the right hip down so we're not bringing the hip way up so we can feel the stretch more into that inner left thigh. Feel a breath. Let it go. Yeah, we're going to bring up this leg. So as we take it, I'm going to try to bring it closer to my head and bring it all the way back into its center. Beautiful. Then we can slowly release it, bend the knee, Let's slide the right knee in. Take both feet to the sky for a moment. Those with a strap can feel the relaxing of the shoulders. Everyone can reach their heels up, taking our nice supine danda pose. And then we can release this. As we release this, straps are going to go off the mat so that we have space to take a beautiful supine twist. As you are here, hug the knees in. We're going to take a supine twist in pigeon. So place your left foot to the earth. Place the right ankle over the left thigh. Let's take our arms in a space of the cactus and gently rock those knees over to the right. As you rock your knees over to the right, can you feel as though you could create more space from that left hip to your shoulder? Nice. We're not going to hold too long. We're going to bring it back up. We'll bring the knee to the heart, set it down. Left knee comes in, ankle flexes over that right thigh, and boom, over to the left. We're going to take our gaze to the right. And again, just kind of notice this weight of this ankle can help to bring the knee down. The shoulders are soft. Gaze might have turned. Nice. We're going to come back and take the 3 little bridge lifts. So awakening the front body, creating a little bit of a back bend, placing our arms along the sides, finding the feet hip-width distance. We'll take 3 little lifts and lower. Let's root down as we breathe in and lift. And lower as we breathe out. Let's take it again. We might lift. Maybe it is a little higher. And we'll lower. Root to the mound of the big toes as you lift, keeping the thighs in alignment with the hips and the knees in alignment. Nice. We're going to release it on down. Taking those 3 beautiful bridge lifts, just awakening, and then countering. Bringing the knees into the heart. There's a nice low back release. We'll open our arms in a way that allows us to take in Jatartha Parivar. Both knees might be in and off to the right. If you feel anything in the hips, please take a nice block or a pillow in between those thighs, and it'll make such a huge difference. Let's bring ourselves back into center and let the knees flow to the left. So we're taking our 1 breath twist as we flow to Shavasana. The breath's flowing in. The breath is flowing out. And we bring ourselves back up. As we do, we can lift our arms, take them around the knees. And as it is there, you might release the prop if you're using it, but lift your head, neck, and shoulders up into a tight little ball. And slowly release it down. Releasing your heels, releasing your arms, and then the legs going long. Taking Shavasana, a moment of joy. Letting this pose be one that is truly restful. Take a bolster under your knees or a pillow or blanket under your knees. Maybe you've got something to cover your eyes, like an eye pillow. But from the heat of the practice into the cooling aspect of Shavasana, let yourself drop in. Soften the eyes. The eyes may be closed, but there's an awareness of the muscles so we can relax them. You might release your jaw. Feel the breaths as they flow in and they flow out. And as you're in Shavasana, a short little story will hopefully take you in more deeply into your quiet space. Krishna is often seen with the beautiful peacock feather, and there is a story. It is a story that happened once upon a time, a long, long time ago, and not so long ago, because we know these stories happen today as well. It was a beautiful summer day, just like today. He'd been out in the forest, and he took a moment to rest. And when he opened his eyes, he was so overcome with the beauty of Mother Nature that he reached into his pocket and he pulled out his flute. He had made this flute many, many years beforehand. Connecting with the beautiful bamboo plant, he said, please, please, use me to make this beautiful music. So he reached for that beautiful flute, and he placed his lips, the soma, and he began to play. And as he was playing the flute, they say it is irresistible. Every living creature hears the joy, hears the raga, the melody, and he's playing. and he's playing. And he begins to slow the rhythm down. And this activated some energies of a beautiful group of peacocks. Now, the king of the peacocks watched as all of his family began to dance. And he too began to feel the rhythm and the joy and the happiness. This vibration just enchanted every living being. Feel your breaths flow in. Feel your breaths flow out. It is said that their hearts begin to sing out of happiness and joy. And the king of the peacocks was so happy to see all of his family and friends happy that he went to the feet of Krishna playing, and he bowed down at his lotus feet. And then he looked up into the eyes of Krishna, who smiled upon him, and Krishna began to dance as well. Now the king of the peacocks said, "Oh, I'm dancing." And they danced. And they said that Krishna began to dance so splendidly that he let the flute just be suspended, and the flute played of its own breath. And the world danced in joy. Our breaths flow in, our breaths flow out. They say this went on for some time, that the peacocks got extremely tired and they began to slow down to rest. But Krishna continued to dance for days. They were in awe, simply watching this beauty. And finally, Krishna took a moment and he paused. And he looked at the world around him and he said, "Remember, even through the most difficult times, you might not even be aware of it, you might not see me, but I am there. The goodness of power is always there, more than we can imagine. It is the magic." The king of the peacocks came back to Krishna, and once more he bowed. And he said, "It was an honor to experience this with you." He said, "I am just a peacock, and I will offer you my plumage." And he reached back and he took his most beautiful feather and he handed it to Krishna. And Krishna was overcome. He said, "You gave something so beautiful to me." It's called the Guru Daksha, this giving, receiving. And Krishna placed the peacock feather in his hat. And to this day, he is often seen with the peacock feather. Our breaths flow in, our breaths flow out. Rest. The magic of life. There is beauty in everything, even in the darkest of times. Letting the vibrations of the singing bowls just wash over you. A sense of energy. Releasing any tension, any tightness. So as you feel your next breath, allow that breath to fill you. Let your chest rise with the energy and expand and open your heart. And then let the breath go. Awaken your fingers with a little movement of energy. Send the energy down to your toes so you start to awaken the toes as well. And on the next breath, we'll feel the arms lengthening up towards the sky as you lift them with ease. Let them float back behind you with ease. We'll circle our arms around the body as the knees begin to come into the heart. You might feel the step of your feet. You might lift the arms, gather yourself. Take a little rock as you take the pose of a palm with a bind. A little shift from side to side. And then we can roll on over to our right side. As you're ready, pause on that space. And the mantra, to find happiness, to find joy in every moment. There is joy. There is magic. Place your hand to the mat and give yourself a gentle press to come back into your space of Sukhasana. And as you shift back into your space of your Sukhasana, we'll join the hands once more. This union of the hands and the union of yoga, we have our own Sangha, a community that we practice. And it's a wonderful moment to just kind of reset. Let's share our breath together as we inhale. And let the breath go. And we close with Saraswati as the hands join together here at the forehead. May it be a reminder of our thoughts being good thoughts and mindful thoughts. As we bring the hands here to the lips, may those words be kind and compassionate words that we speak out loud into ourselves. And as the hands come back to the heart, always, always there's the magic. There's a magic. We feel this connection here at the heart. May all of our actions truly represent the very best of our intentions. Thank you so much for our practice. Namaste.